All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fight is not happening, according to John Fury, Tyson Fury's father, because in his words, they have no date, no venue, and no money. So, from a second angle, this fight with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury looks like it's not going to happen, but primarily, it's not going to happen because Tyson Fury is not free to fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel, and thank you very much for coming. Please subscribe, also support over on the Instagram, and thank you to everybody that comes by the live streams Monday through Friday at 8 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. So let's get into this. The United States and the UK media, if you are paying attention to them and reading the news articles that are coming out of Boxing Scene, coming out of Ring Magazine, coming off ESPN, or coming out of the United Kingdom, and you didn't know better, you would swear that there was an imminent fight about to take place between the WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury and the WBA, WBC, and IBF champion Anthony Joshua. The only problem is that that is not the case. Now, I knew that this isn't the case because of what's going on with Deontay Wilder. But to hear the perspective of John Fury and the frustration of John Fury, Tyson Fury's father, man, I know it's not going for other reasons than the obvious one, which is Tyson Fury being tied up with Deontay Wilder. Now, why is most of this information coming out, and why are they really pushing it? My personal opinion is that most of this publicity for this fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua is coming from Anthony Joshua or the Matchroom camp, and it is not actually coming from Tyson Fury in his camp. If you listen to Bob Arum and Frank Warren are the two promoters for for Tyson Fury. Frank Warren is the promoter for everything that takes place outside of the United States, and Bob Arum and Top Rank are his promoters in the United States. When the conversation started talking about an imminent deal taking place between the two, Bob Arum was like, "What are you guys talking about? We can talk about signing all the contracts in the world, but who's going to pay for the fight? Where is it going to happen?" Right? Those are the words of Bob Arum talking about the Anthony Joshua fight and Tyson Fury fight. Frank Warren also was like upset, thinking that Matchroom really jumped the gun with that announcement, that they had been having conversations about the fight being made, but then Matchroom went public with them and is making it look as if something's is happening that may not be 100% what they're saying is going to be. And this is not the first time that Matchroom Boxing has used the same tactic. The most famous the ones that come to my mind, and a lot of people in the United States and the UK got it backwards, just like, in my opinion, Matchroom wanted them to get it backwards, was that Dillian Whyte was chasing Deontay Wilder. When if you look carefully enough at that situation, Dillian Whyte had multiple opportunities to fight people that went on to fight Deontay Wilder. He was ordered to do so by the WBC, and he still didn't take the fight. So despite all of the talk about wanting to fight Deontay Wilder and what he was going to do to him and this and that and the other thing, the actions of Dillian Whyte are completely different, right? And same thing went with the conversation with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. The whole conversation about Deontay Wilder, and specifically during the time frame between Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 1, and Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury 2. They just went out, Anthony Joshua, knowing that Deontay Wilder had a fight with Tyson Fury, went about talking about how desperately he wanted the Deontay Wilder fight and this, that, and the other thing. And of course, does that fight pan out? Did they ever make a serious effort at making the fight? No. What they did was, and this is similar to what Devin Haney does, they use the name of other fighters that have a big name, and they use those fighters' names to promote the current fight that their fighter is in, right? So Anytime Dillian White is fighting somebody that you don't care about, 90% of the conversation is about Dillian White fighting Deontay Wilder, even though that fight is not realistic, right? Or it's not happening for multiple reasons. So, there's not a lot. So this is a pattern that we now see on this fight with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Now, John Fury, who's the father of Tyson Fury, had this to say about this proposed fight between the two. He says, I don't know what these guys are talking about. They've not given us any date for the fight. They've not given us any venue for the fight. And his understanding, John Fury's understanding, is that nobody has the money to pay for a fight that big, and that what he believes is that that fight is going to have to hold off. It's going to hold off until there is some person that is willing to pay for that fight. So again, they said that there were 3 problems with it: the venue, the date, and the money. And what else? I mean, if you don't have the venue, if you don't know where you're going to fight, when you're going to fight, or how you're going to pay for the fight, that is until you solve those problems, are a worthless piece of paper. Seeing as both Bob Arum and John Fury agree on that point, I think that is a pretty solid thing. And for them to expect for an investor to come in, and I've said this before, for them to come in and expect to have some angel investor pay for that fight, why would that investor do that in the middle of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder being in mediation, knowing that might go to arbitration, and then Tyson Fury himself may be prohibited from going into the fight? Anybody that is going to invest any significant amount of money in something, like giving $100 million to Tyson Fury, $100 million to Anthony Joshua, going through the mechanisms necessary to secure that money, securing, working with the people to get the venue and all that. Why would they go through all of that when they know that at any moment they could have a court order issued out of the United States saying that Tyson Fury has to fight Deontay Wilder? Why would they go through all of that effort and say ahead of time that, yeah, I'm going to back that? If you look at what has happened in previous negotiations where Manny Pacquiao was with Top Rank, and Manny Pacquiao tried to negotiate fights to take place, in Asia or in the Middle East himself, what happened? The investors backed out every time under the threat, over the threat of a lawsuit by Bob Arum and Top Rank, because they would just whisper in their ear, hey man, we got a valid contract with this guy. And we're going to let you know, if you strike a deal with him, we're going to sue you right off bat. And they're going to get embroiled in a court case to start off, right, with a severe pencil whipping from Top Rank. So that is why I'm saying, nah, I don't see it happening from that angle. But more importantly, I don't see it happening because Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are still in court. Tyson Fury, to this day, has a rematch clause that is still in question at the least. Personally, I think with the length of this mediation and the time that it's taking to get there, I don't think Tyson Fury has the strongest case in arbitration. And Deontay Wilder has an excellent facts line up excellently for him to make an argument that he will suffer irreparable harm if he's not allowed, if that rematch clause is not exercised. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.